The Acid Reflux Journey, Part 3.
That's except when I failed, Scott. What do I mean by failing, Scott? You know what happens when we get a good thing going. We too quickly forget the hard times. And, little by little, I began to forget taking the remedy. I would run out of the ingredients or forget to take it with me when traveling.
Or, most idiotic of it all, sometimes, I thought I didn't have 5 minutes to spare to make it. Imagine having a remedy that you know would eliminate your acid reflux every time, and you just decide in your mind that it's not worth 5 minutes to make it.
Well, my brain is obviously not the brightest. And that was okay for a few days. Until one night, when the reflux assaulted me with full force again. As luck would have it, it was exactly a night spent in a hotel, where I had none of the ingredients needed. Worst night of my life. Most of it was spent with my head in the toilet. That's when I got it.
Just like prescription medications, the remedy was dealing only with the symptoms.
It is, of course, natural and not causing any side effects.
But no matter how effective it wasn't curing my acid reflux.
I had promised Scott not to get stuck with the remedy, and also take the 2 other steps in his system. Well, this night reminded me of that promise.
And the hours that passed before I could get to a supermarket and buy the ingredients for the formula nailed that memory in deeply.
When I got home, I immediately began working Scott's program for real. The next step was to give my stomach a break. It wasn't enough to use the mixture that soothed my stomach. I actually had to cut out the foods that were triggering it.
Scott had given me a list of foods to look out for, followed by a long list of delicious foods that are good and soothing for the stomach.
I got it all wrong before. Okay, I knew about sugar, spicy foods, tomatoes, and many of the other obvious trigger foods. But I had no idea about most of the things on Scott's lists.
And here is the thing nobody tells you about acid reflux diets. It is not about avoiding certain types of foods.
It's the food combinations in your meals that are much more important.
Scott taught me 6 simple fundamentals for food combination for acid reflux. Using these fundamentals, I'm actually able to eat lots of foods that previously would have caused terrible bloating attacks. I just avoid combining these bad foods with other foods that promote heartburn.
And finally, the 3rd step.
The huge misunderstanding about stress and acid reflux.
You know the saying, having a knot in the stomach when someone is stressed or in dread.
It's no wonder, because when you are stressed or anxious, you feel it in your guts, right? It's like your intestines are twisted and turned. Now, when acid reflux bloats your stomach, it tricks your body into thinking you're under major stress, even when there is nothing to stress about, other than the pain, of course. This triggers your brain to release a ton of stress hormones. This causes you to feel even more stressed, which again gives you that knot in the stomach feeling and triggers acid reflux.
It's a vicious circle of heartburn and stress.
That's why traditional stress management doesn't ease acid reflux. Scott, meanwhile, taught me 4 powerful techniques, each of which taking only 2 to 3 minutes and focuses on the mind/stomach relationship. I began using these techniques anytime I sensed a small tension in my stomach.
And the results were remarkable.
Over and over again, tensions that would have transformed into full-blown reflux before would melt away as I did the stress release exercises. All I was left with were this great energy flow and light joy in my guts.
Scott is phenomenal.
Combining Scott's simple mixture, his food plan, and his easy stress relief techniques when needed gave my guts a much-needed rest. Over the coming weeks, I began experiencing a flow of energy in my guts that I hadn't felt before.
The heaviness and pressure I would usually have after eating were gone. Instead, I felt uplifted and energized.
At some point, choosing the right food and food combination became second nature.
I don't even think about it anymore. Plus, it doesn't matter if I cheat a little once in a while.
It doesn't send me into full-blown heartburn. When going out to eat and I know I'm going to consume something I shouldn't, I take 4 or 5 minutes to brew up Scott's remedy and experience no heartburn problems.
Best of all, I feel like a normal person again.
It's such a relief not dreading going out with friends because you are that weird guy who can't eat or drink the same as others.
I can order normally without having to interrogate the waiter about the ingredients in the food. and I can have a drink or two without fretting the night.
Stay tuned for the acid reflux journey, part 4.